Alright guys, today I want to show you how to repair the speedometer or change it out. So here's the replacement, and then the shift indicator, if it's broke, I will show you how to replace it. And this is currently on a 95 Ford Ranger. The speedometer is not reading correctly, so got this out of the junkyard. Alright. So to start off with, you're going to have to pull off your, like this, I guess you call this like a kickboard, which you're going to need a 9/32 socket. There is 4 screws down here. There's going to be one. There's a screw down here up by the parking brake release. There's 2 underneath your hood latch. You have to kind of maybe fold that down to get in there to get in. Kind of see that. There's only like one on mine, and then there's one on the far right of the panel. So I'm going to pull those out. I'll have to put the 9/32 in. There we go. Oh, there it goes. All right. I'm pulling these out too, just to get a head start. It'll make the video interesting, right? Okay, I'll come back to that. Anyway. Alright, so pull the couple out down here. And there's the gold colored bolts. Now, when pulling this out, don't pull downward on, because you'll break the clips and your truck will have a lot of rattles. So always just kind of pull back on it towards the seat, and then you can grab it right here and just kind of pull it down. And it'll hinge out. And there's the hood release. You gotta pop that downward. Just kind of, it's got a little rubber bushing. Now you gotta pull your, I guess this is the part that protects the plastic from breaking in so easily. It has 4 5/16 bolts. Mine has 1 broke off, so I just have 3. There's one down here that aims straight out. There's one over here aims straight down, and another one straight down, and so straight down. That should not be that tight. Alright, here we go. Get it all the way. Alright, now you're going to have the 3 bolts on top here. These are 9/32, and you have 2 on the bottom. Oh, that's good. Alright. Now, when you're dealing with something like this where you can't get an impact in, always use a ratchet. I do not currently have one with me, so I want to do my redneck theory, which is take a flat blade screwdriver and jam it into the 1/4 inch socket, and it can kind of pop it loose. I've done that a couple times now. Just get out the rest of the way with your fingers. There you go. Now, the next thing you gotta do is pull the 2 bolts to hold your radio bezel on. Don't have to worry about pulling the radio out, that's a waste of time. So just pull the 2 9/32 bolts off of that, and then you should be able to simply just kind of pull this out, kind of grab onto the bottom of it. Sometimes I'll do it, kind of pop out, and then it'll just kind of hang by itself. Not recommended to do that, but it works. So, all right, now when you're doing this, don't rip it out, but you have to pop the clips, so don't be too afraid to. And don't go pulling it all the way out, because you have to remove your, see this. Right on the back side here, you have your 2 headlight switches. Don't try to pull the switches out. Unplug the connectors here. So to pull this one off, there's a little button right there. You push it and you'll pull out on it. And in there you can see that flat connector there. When you're doing that one, it's really easily just to take a flat blade screwdriver, just go right in about, let's see what I'm doing here. I'm actually using you guys to kind of see how I did that. Get on the side there, just pop right off like that. So, super simple. Let's get this one off. There we go. Now that's popped out. Make sure that when you're doing this, it's really easy. Chalk your front 2 tires with a brick or so you can just leave your truck in first gear all the way down so that you don't have to worry about the shifter being in the way. If you have a 4-speed, you don't have to worry about this. But now that's out of the way. So, I accidentally bumped the hazards there. Now you're going to have 4 9/32 bolts holding the cluster itself in. If I was to have this in park, then that would be in the way of getting in there. It's always probably a good idea to have a magnet with you because those bolts are really easy to drop back in there, and trust me, you'll never find them. Alright, now when you pull this out, you have to pull there's a 7/32 bolt. I can show you where it's at. Holding your shift indicator, and this is only for an automatic. You can see up in here, yours is going to be a white little box. Unlike mine, that's a homemade piece. But then there's this little hook up in here. Kind of see my fingers aiming there. Unhook the little tether from it. Mine's simply, you can just pull it through, but yours is going to have to pull that bolt out, and it'll just pop right out, and it'll be good to go. And then, pretty simple, you'll just hinge the cluster forward a little bit, so you can reach up here and pull your 3 connectors out. Can't get in there to get that one. Let's go from this side. This is fighting me. Okay, there we go. Alright. And then just get the shifter cable, feed it up through the side of your steering column here. You don't want to break that, those are so fragile. Kind of gotta be gentle with them. It'll come out. So I just have to push up in the bottom. It should just pop right out. And there you go. That's how you remove the cluster. What I was dealing with there, pulling these clips off, is just you're going to simply push down these little tabs, kind of wiggle them side to side, and it should pop right out. There's 3 of those. If you're ever having problems with where they go, you can just kind of lay them out. I'm not going to say the color codes because every year these are different. Sometimes the black's in the center, so just kind of lay them out so you'll know where they're at when you go to put that together. Now when we go to pull the cluster apart, you're going to need the 7/32 socket, which I think I put down here, which I did. There is there's like 10 of these little screws. You can also use the torque spit if you want. It makes it easier if you're like trying to do it installed in the dash. Alright, those bolts are out now. Go ahead and open this up. Very simply, should pop off. Now, when you pull these apart, you gotta be rather careful with them. Don't pull, like if you notice that you're happen to be lifting up on an edge of the plastic cover. I'm trying to do it just to show you, like that. Don't just pull on that because you rip the facing off, and it will look weird. So, right here, I recommend like right around the bolt holes. It kind of there's a little bit of overhang. Kind of pry up on that. Just kind of pull up, and they'll pop out. They're just simply pressed in. So these are the good gauges. I'll put them up here. And here I got a nice little hole I can pull on. And just like that, pull that apart. Now, the speedometer holds the shift thing in there, the indicator. So simply pull that up, And there's your speedometer unit. So when you installed in the new parts, what do I do with that shift indicator? It's right here. Okay. So I'm just simply changing the indicator out because the face on this one's better. So you simply ditch that one, and now you can put these in two ways. You can put the speedometer in first, and then this will just pop in place, much like that. Or you can easily just set it down in there, and then you can set your speedometer over it and click it in place. This is a good one, right? 98, yes. Okay. And just verify that that works. It's seated real well. It's where it should be. And then you can go ahead and put the rest of your gauges in. Alright. There. And then it's probably a good idea just to take a little air gun and blow all the dirt out in there. Mine looks pretty good, so I wouldn't go with it. And then I'll take a couple of these little screws. I would definitely not recommend using an impact to do this because you can easily shatter the glass. You might be able to use a little drill or something to drive them in, but don't even let it get snug. Because trust me, you'll say that and then it will get overdone and you'll end up breaking something. So, I'm doing it though. These are almost hand tight from the factory, so don't go all out on it by any means. It's very, for me, it's just enough that it stops the impact. Alright, good enough. And now that your cluster's back together, you have to, first of all, drive your shift linkage down in. So there's like a little, let's see it. If you have tilt steering wheel, if you have tilt steering, it's a lot easier. Much like mine is. There's like a little slot down in there, like a little bit of a groove, a little hole that goes down to the floor. That is where your shift indicator cable will go. You just feed that right there, and then simply go forward, and then plug these in. Plug those in. They'll kind of make a clicking noise. You'll feel they're in. They're not the easiest things to get to, but there you go. You heard that click there. And you should. There's one more. All right, very good. You gotta make sure that cable is happy. If it's not happy, then it will break. They are very fragile. It should have went down there and it didn't. Let's see. Okay, let's see. There it goes. Now you can see it came out the bottom and it's ready to hook up down there. Now that your dash is set where it wants to be, you go ahead and put your 4 9/32 bolts in. I would definitely recommend taking it for a test drive before you put all this together. It saves a lot of hassle and a lot of time. But for the sake of making a YouTube video, we're not going to do that. Put my socket in. Okay. So. Once you get on these, do not drive them down tight. You will crack your dash. Especially on these 25-year-old dashes, they very brittle plastic. It's like that. I dropped it. I wonder where that went.
I can hear it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sweet. focus. Alright. Now that your cluster is installed, or your instrument panel is installed, I'm trying to think what the professionals call them, we can go ahead and reinstall the bezel. Alright. Now this process can go for changing the bulbs in your instrument panel, or replacing the odometer gear, changing out a gauge. This will help you out. Now when you put these on, remember to plug in your 2 light switches. One's the instrument panel dimmer / dome light switch, and your headlight switch. So then just kind of bend that down. Gotta turn the hazard on. Oh, okay, there's that clip right there. That's right. And very simply, make sure your clips are lined up before you push it. You will break those tabs off like nothing. Just kind of check them. And that one popped in over there. So over here, there's 2. Just make sure those go in, and then it'll easily go together, like so. Your radio bezel is the same way. This little wire right here, I have a tendency to get caught up. It will break, and that will short out something and blow a fuse. So be sure that all your wires are very clean and neat back here. And very easily you can kind of feel it set in its place, and it'll pop right in. And alright. So we got our 9/32 bolts. And put back into the dash bezel. Definitely do this with a wrench. Like I said, I'm speeding this up with this. There we go. And now we gotta put the 5 bolts back in to hold the bezel on. We got one over here. One over here. And then 3 up here. And don't drop the bolt. Tight. Okay. Amazed how well this impact fits in. And that one you just have to use a wrench for, or you need the redneck style with a screwdriver. There it is. It's a flat blade screwdriver. It works, so don't recommend it, but I never had a problem with the system or the way of doing it. Just fits right in there. Locks in good. Definitely make sure, this is one thing I would definitely not recommend doing, because it can easily scratch your glass, cut your hand open, tear up the paint. But for me, it gets it done. And I can go ahead and
cover it back on the bottom.
Yeah. Put it in park. So that's out of your way when you're working down here. Just a recommendation. So now we gotta do the metal panel, which a lot of people don't put this back in there because it gets in the way. And rattles. But it will save that piece of plastic down here, because if you accidentally hit with your foot, there will be no support. So you should put this back in. But that's on you. You guys. The 4 5/16 bolts. And now definitely not over tighten these, because I want to give them a little bit. Don't go as light as the plastic. It needs to be tight because it'll rattle. But I sheared that bolt off down there, so I can't say much about it. And now I got the plastic cut or styling cover. I guess this is a or clipboard, whatever you want to call it. And when you do this, easily or line the pins up and then push forward, not up, not sideways, straight forward, because it will break those tabs off. Take your 4 bolts that I only have 3 of. 9/32 bolts, gold. brass color, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna put the socket on it. Drive the one up by the parking brake. And the one over by the floor vent, the cup holder, depending on your model. And always use this side. The 2 bolts to hold your hood latch on. Just like that. Alright, just like that, guys. That's how you or service your instrument panel. Like I said, this can go for
and take note, we did not change the mileage on the vehicle.
Yeah.
They're both 163,000, so
yeah, we're good to go.
Not doing that to lower the mileage.
Right. I would not recommend doing that because your numbers will end up getting all jumbled up and you could easily break one of those little plastic gears in there, which I'm sure you can probably buy it on Amazon or something, but don't do it. So, thanks for watching, guys. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button and leave a comment on if you have any questions on how to do this. Thanks for watching.